Right, hello everyone, you tuned in for another episode of Guzzi's World, and today we're going to be discussing, is the world flat or round? Now, I think it's flat. I know that we're taught that it's round, but I actually think it's flat. I did a little bit of research on these theories that are out there, and I'm just going to run through some of the points what I found, what leads me to believe that I think it is actually flat. So, one of them is, you're taught from a young age, right, that the world is round, like from children. Now, if you think about it logically, it's not really important. Do you know what I mean? It's not important to have it drilled into your head from young that the world is round. There's other things we could be learning other than that. Now, I've looked at different images and footage, and the horizon always seems to be flat. Now, if you was living on a curved Earth, you'd expect the horizon to bend, have a curvature to it. But it doesn't matter if you're looking at eye level from the ground or someone sends an independent hot air balloon, I don't know, 20,000 feet into the air, the horizon's still flat. You're not seeing no curve, which from that height, you'd expect to see some form of curve on the Earth. Another one is with aeroplanes. Now, if the world was really curved and like a ball, when you're flying in an aeroplane, the pilot would have to constantly be dipping the plane down, otherwise you just fly off the edge of the Earth. So when you're on them big flights and you're in a plane for 8 hours going at 400 miles an hour or whatever it is, bearing in mind the world's circumference is 250,000 miles. So you imagine if you're going 400 miles an hour for 10 hours, 8 hours, you're gonna pass so much of the Earth's ground that you just have to be constantly dipping. Boom, 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 boom. Planes never seem to dip. You know? The rides, when they go up, they get to the level where they need to be to fly, and then they dip when they're coming down. So why aren't people ending up in space when they're on even if you're on a short plane journey, you'd still have to be relocating the end of the plane. Now, I've also come across some old world maps. This is like from the 1800s, and a lot of them maps show that the Earth is more of like a flat disc structure as opposed to the round Earth that we've been told. Now, there's some people, when you get to, say, Antarctica, right, you get to Antarctica, and then there's like these not icicles, ice mountains we'll call them. Now when you get onto the ice mountain, some of these explorers that have explored in the past, you get so far and then there's like government officials like telling you to turn around and stuff like that. Now if we think about this logically, if the world was a flat place, the edge of the world is covered in like icebergs. So there is no Antarctica. Well, there is Antarctica, but it's the edge of the world. It's not North Pole and South Pole, how it's being taught to us. Now, when you do get to the edge, and when you're going too far, that's when the government officials are there. And that's when people have to start turning around and, oh, you can't go here because this, or you can't go here because that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just very convenient that when you get into a place like that you have to be told that you've got to turn back. Now, we've got to look at NASA. NASA is an organisation, which I've seen from the little bits and bats that I've looked at. It's not really that credible, simply because NASA controls everything to do with space science anyway. If they are linked into government officials, and I'm going to use the word Illuminati, I'm going to use it, I have to use it. If they are linked to that anyway, everything they're feeding you is what they want to feed you anyway. Do you see what I mean? So we can't really look at a picture from NASA and be like, oh, well, NASA sent it, so it must be right. No. Not necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got to question their motive. It costs billions of pounds of taxpayers' money to do all these little missions, and we've gone into space and we've done this, and what do you get? A one little piece of photo where you see the top end of the Earth and that's it. You're never seeing no full footage. You're never seeing the camera pan around. You're not seeing everything. All it basically looks like is if you was to go high in the sky and use a normal camera, everything looks level. you put a fisheye lens onto that and it gives it a curve. So it wouldn't be that hard for them just to go up into like the upper atmosphere with their fisheye lens, take a photo of the flat Earth, and it would appear curved anyway. It's very simple. Even NASA has even admitted on one of these interviews how, oh yeah, they do use Photoshop. Well, they didn't say it in these words, but they're essentially saying the reason why all of their photos look CGI, you can look at Google the Earth, not Google Earth, but Google the Earth on Google Images. Google all these thousands of satellites that are in space. They all just look like it's been made in your brethren's bedroom. Do you know what I mean? On his PC. That's what they look like. Because that's what they are. Do you know what I mean? There's no credible photos out there. And the way they justify it is by, oh, well, yeah, we have to get bits and strings and straws of data and we compile it together and we have to Photoshop it, basically. We have to create it. That's basically what they're saying. Another one is... If the Earth is round, right? Now, the way water works is it always finds like a neutral level. Water, you drop water anywhere, it's gonna end up level, isn't it? There's no like kind of different heights when it comes to water. Now, if the world was round, water wouldn't be able to sustain at level on around Earth. It would have to be flat for that. You know, they've even done tests like, so they'll find a 6-mile stretch of water untouched and they'll like put a flag in one side, flag at the other side, telescope, and there's no dips in the water. Now, if the world was round, every mile or two there'd be inches of a curve that has to do it for the world to be round. Do you know what I mean? So that's another reason. Depending what direction a plane flies, it means it would never reach its destination. So if the world's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour or whatever it's spinning at, it's something mad like that. Depending which way a plane's flying, it would never get to its destination, because if a plane's going at 500 miles, but the Earth's going at 1,000 miles, the plane's just not going to reach where it needs to go because it's not fast enough. Do you see what I mean? Unless it was flat, of course. Then if it's flat, it's gonna make its way there regardless. Now, what the thing with all of this is, why? So let's assume it is a lie and the world's not round and it is flat. You've got to ask yourself, but why would they tell you that? Now let's look at the reasons why. If you're trying to control people, if you can make people believe the world is round when it's flat, what else can you lead people to believe? Do you see what I mean? So if your very existence is not what you think it to be, then it's going to be very easy for them to just make you pay tax. It's just easy. Why do you have to pay tax? Oh, you just do because you're just this. Oh, that's illegal. Why is it illegal? Oh, it's just illegal. Just because it's illegal. Do you know what I mean? They can just manipulate everything if you can't. Do you know what I mean? If they can make you believe that. Also, there's a theory of if the world is flat, it's on a dome. So not on a dome. There'd be like a dome or some kind of barrier around it. Now, if this was the case, if you think of experiments, right? So we have animals in a cage, right? And we can look at them animals and we can study them. Now, imagine how the world would cope if we knew it was on a flat Earth, which had some kind of force field or something around it, and we were just being looked upon and essentially an experiment. People wouldn't be able to handle that information. Do you see what I mean? Because you'd always want to know what's outside of the Earth. You'd always want to know, well, if I'm in here, who's out there watching us? Do you see what I mean? And then things in the real Earth becomes less important. You start looking for your true meaning. Then what happens? Consumerism goes down. Because no one's really bothered about what car I'm going to buy if you know there's something on the outside just looking in and playing with you anyway. You're not going to be bothered. So businesses start mashing up, governments start crumbling because you know there's more, so it becomes less important. Do you know what I mean? That's one theory. And another thing is, if the Earth was flat, this is a reason why they might do it. If the Earth was flat, the sun and the moon actually revolve around the Earth. So if we're stationary and we're flat, now by the sun and the moon perfectly being there to revolve around the Earth, it kind of makes you feel more important as a human, right? If it was flat. Now by scientists basically telling you that, oh well, it's just a big bang, it's just an accident, you're just flying through space and it just happened to fall like that, it kind of takes away purpose. Do you know what I mean? It kind of makes you feel that you're less than what you are. Whereas if you know, no, do you know what? The Earth was here on purpose. Everything is set up for the Earth to be. So then it gives us a link to, okay, there must be a God, or there must be a creator, or whoever invented this Earth to work the way it did. Do you see what I mean? But if you just make it look like it's just a big accident, oh, it don't matter, there's hundreds of millions of different Earths, it's just, you just happen to be one, what just... You see what I mean? It takes away your inner worth as people. By taking away your inner worth as people, you're easy to control, again, when it comes to little things. So, guys, do your own research in it. I'm just saying, this is what I think. I think it's flat from what I've seen. I might be wrong, it might be round. I don't know. But that's what I think. Guzzi as well, guys. If you like the video, like it, share it, subscribe it, you know, comment, just get involved. Tell me what you think in it. We're out, we're gone.